Entrepreneurship 201 with Gib Mason. I don't know about all of you, but I really didn't know what I was getting myself into when I started this class, and I really didn't know what my expectations were. The class is called the Entrepreneurial Mindset for a reason. I mean, he named it after one of our friggin' textbooks. So, there's this whole debate. Are entrepreneurs born, or is this a craft that you can learn? And not only do I think this is deeply personal, and it depends, but I don't think it's an answer that we'll ever have. And then you have Daniel Pink, who is all about the brain. He talks about the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, and how they process things differently. You know, how the left is more technical, and the right is more artistic. But in the end, if they don't work together, you're not going to get a cohesive person, and you're not going to be able to come up with a cohesive product or service. And we've all heard the story about the Ray Krocs and the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Steve Jobs and so on. And I think that's what we think of when we stereotypically think of an entrepreneur. But at the end of this class, I'm still asking myself, what is an entrepreneur, or what can an entrepreneur actually become? So let's look at the Facebook example. Mark Zuckerberg, this dude who goes to Harvard, all of a sudden he has this great idea, and he's this wizard technician, and he develops Facebook, and he ditches Harvard, and he makes millions of dollars. I think dropping out of school and making millions of dollars is something that most people wouldn't mind. But unfortunately, it's not that simple. I mean, we're all in school, I think, to do something with our lives and make a living, whatever that may mean. And that's why it's good that we have gatekeepers and professors and people like Gib Mason, for example. So anybody who knows Gib will know what I'm talking about when I say yes and whatever you want. And I think that this is a good life philosophy. But more on that in a second. So, going back to another thing that we talked about in class is, what makes you happy? And a lot of people say that the way our capitalist society is set up, money will make you happy in the end. And I think this is interesting because you have a lot of entrepreneurs that make money and they think they're happy maybe for a while, and then they realize that that probably isn't all it. And you have entrepreneurs, people like Mark Zuckerberg, people like Bill Gates, even Gib Mason, for example, who are spreading knowledge, they're spreading experiences, they're spreading perspective down to aspiring entrepreneurs. And I think that is the key fulfillment, and that is what makes you happy as a successful entrepreneur. And then there's this other thing in the back of my mind, and I'm sure it's crossed others' minds. But when we look at a Mark Zuckerberg, for example, a college dropout who's really successful and he just went with it, we wonder, can I get there from here? And I think a lot of us might want to take that jump, but going from point A to point C can be kind of difficult. And that's where I think college comes in. And that's where you learn, and that's where you connect. That's where you ground yourself. So at the end of this class, I can't tell you what an entrepreneur is or isn't. But I have experiences with my teammates and my classmates and my professor that have shaped the way that I think. And I'm coming out with a different perspective on doing things. Thank you.